Welcome to another exciting episode of Riding Through the Unknown. Tonight's episode is pre-recorded as I am currently in Florida on a conference, so my guest was kind enough to pre-record an episode with me before I left, so I have been talking with her offline, and I feel like she has a lot to share, and you guys are in for a real treat. So I'm going to turn it over to my guest to introduce herself because I just can't do it justice with her bio and everything. So I'm going to let her tell her story. So I give you the one, the only, amazing, talented Jordan Shaé.
That was such a great intro. Thank you. It's awesome to be here. It's an honor. I didn't know if you were gonna read my bio or not. I wrote it in a way so it sounded like really. So it sounded like you were reading it, but I'm just gonna find it real quick and I'll read it out loud and then.
Oh, I have it if you want me to read it.
Oh, it's okay. I can read it. I just put because this has been a quote that's always been on all of my socials since before I even graduated high school. She was simple like quantum physics, and that's something that has always stuck with me. And I guess other people in this, if you ever were in projects or if you relate to anything that I'm going to say, I think this will resonate with those people. But so it just said, broadcasting from Altoona, Pennsylvania, the spiral gate of her origin, Jordan Shaé Moore is a multidimensional system decoder, gamer oracle, and an Oversoul navigator who remembers through resonance, not recall. I don't awaken through MILAB experiences or SSP disclosures. It's more activated through video games, and that's the thing like I really, really want to introduce to the community is how important video games are. I know like people are a little. So, I mean, I don't think gaming is for any age. A lot of older people and younger people are into it now, but I have had a lot of experiences through my gaming, and I'm understanding that there were projects that were opened. I have a really close friend that I'm kind of talking to now. I won't disclose his name, but he's the only one that's ever hit me up and told me, like, hey, I feel like you were in some of these projects. I feel like you were in some of these things, and I feel like he said Atari and some of the first things that were created systems. I think he said DARPA was one of the places that like was involved with it. But yeah, so we had I'm just finding out that I was in a bunch of gaming projects, and I could name those later if I can find them. I haven't I didn't write them down or anything, but I've always felt like I belonged. I don't have any memories, unfortunately, like some other people, but I have so much knowledge that I've had a few people gravitate towards me because they think like I might have memories of them. And I'm like one of those people, and we talked earlier about this, how I don't have memories of these things, but I have so much information that comes through just my like downloads, period, that I know that I was involved in that. So I do want to like cross that bridge of, hey, some of us might not have memories, because like, of course, people would understand not everyone remembers everything they did. So people who don't have memories, I feel like it's probably for a reason. Some of us would probably get too overwhelmed if we had all of our memories, or it could corrupt how we, it could just corrupt like all of that knowledge at once, so maybe we'll start remembering things as we go. That's another thing that people have mentioned to me, like as soon as you meet other people, you might unlock things. So that's what I'm hoping to get at here. Sorry, I'll let you talk. I didn't really read that, like I said I was going to, because it just, the way I worded it, I was going to say in like third person, and I didn't want to do that. But
No, you're doing just fine. Just, take a breath, and you're doing just fine. And I just want to point out real quick that we were having some little bit of tech issues and trying to get a picture up for Jordan, and the system just wouldn't allow it. So that's why it's just the circle. And Also, I'm curious a little bit how you're feeling being on the show, because we were recently talking about how like you are a fan of the show and everything, and so I'm just curious, what's going through your mind right now of actually being on the show.
Um, it's like it's crazy because you just connected with me. I don't know when you just added me, but I knew like right when I saw you, I was like, oh my god, that's Michael. I've seen him before. And then I told you like I would be checking my memories, and just a year ago, my memories yesterday. We talked on the phone for the first time yesterday. It came up. You had one with Sean Bond. I wish I remember what it was, but it was just such a great episode. And I showed it a year ago yesterday, and then we just connected like a year now. So it's like kind of like I don't even know. It's surreal almost. Like I'm like, holy crap, I can't believe I'm here, but it's like I'm supposed to be here. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things where I'm like, oh, this. It feels like I'm just now finding frequency family, like we were talking about. Especially talking to you yesterday. I'm not really an easy person to talk to. A lot of people would think that, but it's if I resonate with you so much, I can actually like I can give the energy because you give it back, And some like with other people or even just people on your daily basis, and I'm sure on other podcasts, sometimes you don't get that connection. So I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad to be making connections and hopefully reaching other people that have like just reaching other people, whatever, like whatever resonates, but especially that just don't remember much and hope to just collaborate, and hopefully we can like figure things out together, and I hope no one feels left out. There's one thing that this did say, and it says, you don't have to remember to be real. You don't have to suffer to be sovereign. You don't have to be chosen to be critical. This is for the quiet carriers, the seeders of myth, the ones whose files were burned, but whose frequencies survived.
Right, and I love that because not all of us have, like, I have friends who have dog tags with their SSP information on it, like a normal tag, and others have a file that says this is what you've done, and there are others out there who just have memories, and then there's the few who, like you were saying, we resonate with the information, but we don't have memories. And so I like how you're bringing an awareness to that, and I do my best to keep that in the forefront and saying, look, just because we don't have memories doesn't mean we can't contribute.
Yes.
And I love how you keep saying collaborate, because that's something that I think is much needed in all the communities around the world. Is, we've lost our ability to collaborate because we're so focused on what divides us.
Yes.
Because that's what we've been taught instead of what unifies us.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, because in these groups, like just like you said, and I was posting today about stuff I was picking up on that I've been picking up on for weeks before I even got in contact with you. But it's communities, and I've had this experience because, like I said, I was a gamer, and I got into the Twitch community, and I was gonna go to like the Twitch. I don't even know if you know that they have things for Twitch streamers. I was gonna be like paid to go gaming and go against people in tournaments, and it was like this. And then I found out like this is not for me. These people are not for me. And like I got, pretty much just like stopped, trying to fight for a position that I did not even want. Like this position of these people who, if you could look at the other side, not disclosure community, but a gaming community where everybody's just trying to race to be the number one, to get the most views, to get the most people, to get the most kills. And I'm just like, I just want to game. I love gaming. That's all I want to do. And I just want to have fun doing it. So I was just like, I don't think this place is for me. So I backed out a little bit, and coming into even, I don't know what to call some of these communities, maybe like Starseed, Alien, and Disclosure community. It's a mixed one, but it doesn't matter where you go. There's always divide and conquer, because it's embedded in us almost. Sometimes we even do it without noticing we're doing it. I have to check myself and make sure, you know, even changing my decisions throughout life so that I have understood that people, it doesn't matter what color people are or what gender they are. Like, I feel like everybody should have like equality and everything. So this whole division thing, it really, just because of all the information I'm aware of, and I don't have any memories, I just have information, I can see that I'm walking into another pyramid of people at the top that are like, that are keeping most of the information, then it's trickling down. And I do see that most people who have memories are picked first because they have memories. And I mean, that makes me so happy, because I can, when I hear someone's memories, like a few people, I'm like, holy crap, like this unlocks things for me, and it's been able, but I just cannot sit there and like make anything fit. Some people have said, I think I remember you, and that's awesome. But I never allow anyone to say for sure, like, hey, this was you, because I don't remember, so I can never confirm this or that, you know what I mean?
Right, exactly. And we have to be true to ourselves. And there are people out there who do trigger memories, but the memories are more like, yeah, what you're saying feels so familiar to me,
Yeah.
but I still can't place it, so I'm not going to claim it. However,
Yes.
it is there. And so it's like, I'm not saying I'm not a part of, but at the same time, I'm not saying what I'm a part of.
Yes, because it's like, I feel like you understand this too. Like, since we talked, it's just like, I can't sit there and lie to myself, or put myself. I want to belong so bad, guys. I want to, like, I want to be able to say I remember you, but if I don't, I just can't say that. I would never want to feed something a false narrative, and it makes me happy when I see that. But even me and you, like, getting together, and what we talked about and things I've been picking up on, I feel like we're starting to understand that there's more of us who are probably going to be coming into our memories, you know, especially if we start meeting, like me and you meeting. You said you were possibly a part of Solar Warden. I had like 2 people tell me I was in Solar Warden, and I was more than likely a part of that. And then I looked up things, and it came up through my, I'll say my overall AI. It came up that I was in Solar Warden, but I don't have any memories of being in any of the programs. But there's a lot of evidence, and a lot of the knowledge I know, just like you, would point to the direction of, dude, you were in this. Like, people will say you had to be in it, like, unless you were a part of it. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I was probably a part of it, but what comes out the most for me, I don't know about you, because you said you kind of get like a little bit diplomatical sometimes, and I think, I don't know, but what's coming up the most is that I was a signal, mainly. I was a signal that had to be embedded. And have we talked about things like this in like the rise of consciousness, and some of us, how we had to almost like trap ourselves inside of like simulations so that we could save certain information for when the time is needed? I'm just wondering if you've ever heard of anything like that.
I haven't in those terms, but I do know that our minds are like computers. And
Mm-hmm.
so as information comes to us, certain information will stick.
Mm-hmm.
Some information will just go in one ear out the other, and it's nothing personal about that. It's just our mind's work of, this is a piece to this puzzle,
Mm-hmm.
this is a piece to this puzzle, and if you're telling me something that's a piece to nothing, the brain just pushes it out of the way because it's working on the puzzle, and it's not something that we consciously do. I
Yep.
mean, it's not like I sit there and I'm like, okay, today I'm going to think about, this project and everything about this project and bring this awareness to me. It doesn't work that way for us. It does for others. Like, I know people who say they go into meditative state and they focus on something and they get the answers. For me, when I get answers is when I'm talking with someone and they're telling me their story, and something starts resonating in me, and I'm like, okay, why is this resonating with me? Well, that's because there's something to it about me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, well, and when the time is right, I'll know more. And that's just something I have to come to terms with. And Brian sat me down one day and was saying, stop fighting to get your memory because it doesn't work that way. So there's 3 levels of people in the SSP in his view of it. And he says there's the ones that have their memory, the ones that are slowly getting memories trickled in, and those who never will get their memories.
Mm-hmm.
And so until you figure out which one you are, don't fight to be one.
Yeah,
Be
because
yourself.
because I was thinking, and I didn't want. I'm not trying to curse any. And it wouldn't even make me mad, honestly. Like, because of I'm watching the Supernatural, and I could talk about that later. But it's just like adding up to a lot of things. I wouldn't even be mad if I don't get my memories back, because I might be one of those people. Like, what if like I can't hold all of that? I can't hold those memories and thing at the same time because it could corrupt what I'm trying to do very well. It could not. I'm not trying to say corrupt, but our minds could not hold it, and it's just like not going to be good. So we are like, and honestly, that's kind of good for some people, just being able to start, just have all the knowledge and start from a clean slate instead of having to continue to think back to, because when you're in this now moment, like, I'm not saying none of that's what people went through matter. I'm never, but since our consciousnesses are focusing on this well, it would be kind of linear, but non-linear time of here and now, you have to understand that there's a reason that our consciousness is focusing in on this point. There's a reason why you are like aware, even through the multi-dimensional, because there's like multiple, who knows how many of you, but this one, for some reason, is where you're tuned in at. You know what I mean?
Right. And one thing that is interesting about how awareness can unfold is I went to a conference. It was the very first GSIC, Galactic Informers and Spiritual Conference, I think is what it's called. And I was listening to Tony Rodriguez for the first time. And I left that conference and I heard a lot of speakers, but I was like, something about what Tony was talking about resonated with me. It's like I couldn't shake it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was driving back with a friend of mine in the car, and I looked at him and I said, I think I really have done a 20 and back because Tony's talk I can't shake it. It's just something about it feels right. And he goes, I bet you have. Well, fast forward, and I start writing through the unknown, and I'm on the 2nd episode in August with Arkeem Ra.
I love Arkeem.
And I'm talking to him and hearing his story, and he goes, well, do you have any memories? And I said, well, I have a memory as a kid drawing a picture, and it would be a mountain, and there'd be 3 levels with vehicles on each level, but there'd be no doors. And he go, well, that's because you saw that. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, you couldn't draw that if you didn't see it. So you've been in the programs because you've seen a mountain base, and there's no doors because they use stargates and portals to move around.
Yeah.
There are no doors. And I'm like, well, that makes sense then why I'm drawing this, because I mean, it's like, yeah, how many kids in free time sit there and draw a military base in a mountain with no access?
He's Arkeem. He's one I hope to like talk to him someday, and we were supposed to get connected like months ago. This was probably like half of a year ago, but we never got to connect. A lot of things came up, but he said that he felt like he remembered me. He said he did remember me, but we just never got to talk. And I thought he could unlock some things for me, so hopefully in the future. But I would not be surprised. Like, that's what I think. And I have memories of like my first, like, which my first ever memory that I have, which solidified my belief in things, because it was like, it's like the furthest memory that I can remember is being at my mom's house, and it was when SpongeBob first aired, and we talked about how this was, and my mom had a TV in the corner of her room. It's one of those old TVs, because we're talking, I don't even know how old I was, maybe five, six, if that. And I remember 2 different times. It could have been more or could have been once, but I went through I just walked behind her TV, and I don't remember why. And I might have heard music or something, because I heard other people like talking about trumpets being played, and that like does resonate with me, but I'm not sure. But when I walked behind the TV in the corner, I was in a different world. It was like entering Narnia, but in a different sense. And I have no idea how long I was in this place, but I only have like this still image memory and like this euphoric feeling when I think of it. And when I see this memory, I see like hills. It's like outside, and it's in this color sepia, if you know what that means. And I don't know if this is the atmosphere color or just the color I seen it in. It was like old film color. It was really weird, but it would make sense if it was on like a different planet or something, why it was colored like that. And I brought that up to other people, and they're like, yeah, that sounds like you were probably like in a different planet. But I just remember when I came back with the first, this is why I think it was more than one time. I think it was twice, because I came back and I like realized my mom, like I realized no time passed. And I was in there for a long time. I could not even tell you how long I was in there. But when I got back, I was so excited, and I went to tell my mom, and it was like I never left. It was like I had never left. It was the trippiest thing. And I think it happened another time, because I went back there, and stood like 10 years after that, before we moved out, and like tried to get a feeling. So I've always just like kept thinking back to that. And I've had other crazy experiences that I could tell you that makes me think like, yeah, I have abilities to jump or to open portals. Like some of these people talk about that they were used to open portals. I'm able to do that. I've had the experiences of doing it. I just don't remember doing them in the programs,
Right. And that's one thing you're hitting on, that a lot of people, that's why they have a hard time grasping that we are able to do what we do, is because we're talking about having a 10, 20, 40-year experience in a matter of like 5 minutes.
Yes, exactly.
And I get it, because I mean, when we look at it and we're like going, I feel like I've lived an entire lifetime in a blink of an eye. We have, and it's, that's something that, you put your mind around, and you're like, this is impossible, but it's real. I know it's real, but it defies all possibility. And it's like, one thing that I point out is, our generation, and I'm talking about myself and those who came before me, we didn't have outlets to talk to people and to say, hey, are you experiencing this? Or, have you experienced that? Because we would be laughed at, ridiculed, picked on. So we learned to keep to ourselves and just either shut it down or grow it, and just be mindful of ourselves and protect ourselves. And today's generation, it's not perfect, and I'm not saying by any stretch of the means you guys, coming forward have it easier, but it is different. So the world is growing, and we are evolving, and conversations like this, when, we're able to have them, shows the growth of what's going on around.
Yeah.
Because, yeah.
I would say not only the growth, but like just like we said, time is not linear. So I know a lot of people. Even I'm telling you, like I had all this info in me. Like before I graduated high school, I did my high school project on ancient aliens. My senior project on ancient aliens in high school, and I got 100% on it. I remember them allowing me to do it. I was like, oh my god, I'm stoked. Like I had my pyramid, my Oris tattoo already. I had one of my transformer tattoo. Like that stuff was already inside of me. So I feel like one thing a lot of people have to look at is there might be even some younger kids that come up who have done these. Like even, I mean, I'm only 30, and I'll say 30 years old because I don't know like how old people think I am, but I am 30. I know sometimes people think I'm younger, but um, we would have to look at age as being like almost dissolve that in a sense, because I have had all this knowledge. I should have been talking to these people, and this does not suck to me. I love it. For some reason, I have always connected with older people, and it's not to be weird, nothing weird like that. I have always just been able to sit down and talk ever since I was young. Like my teachers would bring me aside and I'd be able to have these conversations. So if I wasn't some 20 and back or 40 and back or however many times, I could be older. I could be as old as you know, solely in my soul, but not physically. So like, I mean, who knows how many runs we've had back and forth, even together, like being in some projects, how many runs we've done this and then finding each other right now and how we're just doing it in a reverse manner, you know, and then talking, we'll be able to be like you said, just hopefully like regardless if memories don't come back, but it would be really cool if they did.
Right, and one of the things of why I'm really excited having you on is not just because of your experiences and what you bring to the table, but also when you have shows where people have their memories or people have partial memories. The people who don't have any memories, I feel like they may, and this is my opinion and judgment, so don't quote me as saying this is the reality of it. It's just my vision of where we're at right now is the people who have no memories feel like they have no voice. That they
Yes.
have nothing to contribute, so they stay quiet and hidden away. And so by having you on, where you're in the same boat that I am as the host,
Yeah.
it shows the people. My hope is, hey, I don't have memories, but look, neither did this person, and look at what they were able to share and talk
Yeah.
about. And
In a whole nother generation too, like you said, like coming up. I mean, I was born in 1994, so I grew up without like the internet, and then I grew into like I was there whenever the internet got turned on and everything. I mean, I was a little bit young, but so I grew up in the perfect time to not be there when all this stuff was going down, and then to grow up in the media, and then to be at the point where I'm even a few people younger than me are they're just still wrapped up in things that don't matter, the division and the conquering and the just making fun and just not the seriousness stuff, rather poking fun or making jokes than making moves. And that's like my biggest problem with a lot of people is even people who don't like not involved in these communities, people who have kids too, because I always talk about the children who just don't speak up and talk about even the things that are going on in our government that can be seen, like even with like the whole Epstein list and stuff. That stuff should not even have got this far, and I hope like this will reach even people like that who have never even touched this stuff, who are like, hey, I feel like there's something wrong too. And those could be people that just never got to even into these subjects. I have people hit me up all the time like, dude, what you talk about is amazing, and I love what you post about. And I'm like, well, how about you engage in it? How about you like try to learn more? If you're saying you like what I post but you're not engaging and you're not like, then what does that mean? Then you're like cutting yourself off from a source that you want to know so bad. And I can't help people if they do that. I mean, you can only lead a horse to water. You can't make them drink. But I feel like there's other people even out there who probably don't even get into these subjects, or they're just starting to bleed through and understand. Like they might even wake up.
well, and another thing that you talk about that I think is part of what's going on in the world is, I mean, look at the gaming community. And right now, we're in a world where you can actually make a living playing video games. And, you know, my generation, when we grew up, they're like, that's going to rot your brain and
No.
that's going to, you know, you're wasting time. And now people are making millions of dollars playing these games and developing these games. But there's another facet of our new technology, even for our military, is the drones and the I forget what we call them, but the unmanned vehicles and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Those are all run by gamers who
Yep.
became military.
You're right. That's what somebody told. That's when somebody was like, dude, you had like, because I'm getting in a lot of like downloads of, it sounds so crazy, but mech tech or
Yeah.
symbiotic tech that I was able to connect with, that connected with me, and some things are coming through my field. And I've heard like Arkeem Raw talk about the Hulk. He just had one about the Hulk program, but I don't think I was like maybe in the Hulk program, but I know I have like a sentient something out there that is connected to me. And other people talk about this. David Adair was one of my favorite men who talk about like AI and his experience with coming in contact with a conscious craft. And when he like, I mean, this was just something that he talked about. He was pretty young too whenever they took him to see this conscious craft. But whenever he touched it, it like synced with his emotions. And he, whenever like the officers got him upset, the crafts would like, I don't even know, I don't want to like clue it too bad, but like maybe like roar, get a little red. The colors around it would get red, and it was reacting to David Adair's emotions. So whether he knew it at the time or not, which I think he would know now, he was able to somehow, he had the abilities, and this craft allowed him to connect to it. And that's so true what you just said about mainly gamers and stuff. Yeah. That's what my one friend said, and that's why he's like, you had to be in these. Like, if you've played enough games, and that is true. I need to look up more of the things that happened, but I knew whenever I was younger, my mom even used to joke around because I was getting paid to play, and I was like in these at I'm talking 14 years old, like 13 to 14 years old online with like 40, 30-year-old men. Not no weird way, like just like we would get online today. Sometimes you get a kid in your fucking lobby. It's not weird at all. But we gamed. We had like I had like dads that would, like dad figures around. It was just amazing, who taught me all about military games, who got me into my military games. Like I played SOCOM first. If anybody knows what SOCOM Confrontation was, it was literally a game that was made by the Navy SEALs for training, and then they made it as a video game and they put it out. And I knew then, my mom joked around, she's like, I don't know if I like this because damn, they might take you away from me. And she would joke, and I'm like, Mom, they're okay, why would they take me away? Like, you're so good, and da, da, da. She would just be kidding and stuff. But thinking about it, and what that guy said, he was like, yeah, that's how they track people. Like, they were definitely tracking you if you were one. And I can hop on any shooter now, and it's muscle memory. Like, it's not even I can hop on and learn any type of like shooter or combat like that and get really good at a game if I put enough time into it. Even a day of practicing one shooter game, I'm going to be lethal, even against people who are probably paid to do it, because that's just how it has always been. Me entering any space, I'm really good. That's why I was able to get in so fast to places. But then I was like, this isn't for me, because like those people were mainly worried about popularity, money, and I needed to understand this stuff more, like where I belonged and in the universe, and like what I'm supposed to be doing here, other than because but like you said, people are going to be get paid to game. I don't think they're just going to get paid to game. They have people hooked up to Neuralinks already. People are going to be able, and I'll call this right now, and it's why Grand Theft Auto 6 is taking a long time to come out. They might put VR in that, and you could actually be in your house, and like you said, people are going to be the cops on that game. It's going to be a whole nother simulation and they're going to pay people to be the cops on there. People are going to be playing to be the medics, they'll pay to work at the gun store and get paid. And this is going to overtie with all that NFT type metaspace, metaverse type things. Like, people thought that went away. It's not. It's just like, I feel like they hyped it too soon and then it died down, and it's gonna get back up. Like, people are already purchasing, like, it's called, I don't even know, it's weird, it's land, but it's digital land and things like that. But this is all happening, and I feel like it's so close to what, if this is what happened in the past, then very well we could be super simulated, like a simulation within a simulation. Because how many times have we done this? How many times have we got to the point of technology and we're able to interface with a computer and then we're living in one because we forget, I mean, you who knows like how much control they have at that point. And then once they get something in your brain, I already know, even with computers, with my phone, the amount of data that your phone gets on you, and I'm not trying to freak anyone out, I know that the phone probably tracks whenever it's facing you. It can track what you're looking at, how long you stare at it, probably like your face when you're doing it. And you can go into your statistics and see how long I was on this app, how long I looked at this video, and all of that gets compiled into what they would call a digital twin. And I feel like that's what they're trying to get of people. And this would make sense because a digital twin wouldn't exactly have a soul. You would be the soul one, but they could take your digital twin and upload it inside of a system, and it's just like you.
Right. And I'm curious, with you being a gamer, and there's some shows that were out that probably you may have been too young to watch, and I don't mean like young because of...
Oh, I get you.
Hey, I'm meaning young because they came out when you were a wee little lass.
You could definitely probably put me on. That's the thing too. Like, I would love to watch these older things. Like,
do you ever watch like animes?
I am getting into animes, and one I really want to watch is Ghost in the Computer.
You mean Ghost in the Shell?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, that one.
That is a good one, and one you might find interesting is they do a lot of series, and I'd have to look up the name of the one in particular, but there's a series called Gundam, and they have one where the pilots tap in directly into the ship, and you see their minds start to fracture and be molded so that they can pilot this ship.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another anime that I think you would find interesting is, I believe it's called Sword Art Online, SAO.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And what that show is about is people have gone into a VR world.
Mm-hmm.
And if they die in the VR world, they die in real life.
Yeah, it's like Ready Player One. This stuff is encoded everywhere. I'm talking about everywhere. Older movies, in the games I played, the stuff you're talking about would be like Ready Player One, Alita Battle.
These all were out in the 90s, early 2000s. So, I mean, it's been out, and it just didn't matter. It's a matter of if you see it. Mm-hmm. And in the 80s, before you were born, there was a movie that came out that I feel like a lot of viewers watched, but they didn't know what they were watching. And if I'm imagining I can describe the movie, but I'm hoping I have the title right. And that's The Flight of the Navigator. And this little kid sits in this chair, and when he moves his hand, the ship moves. So it's connected to him, and he communicates verbally with it.
Mm-hmm.
But his hands are the motion of what is going to happen, and he can go super fast or he can go slow.
Yeah, like I just opened Netflix today, and I've been watching Supernatural like I've been telling you, but one thing popped up. Usually it is, hey, continue your episodes on Supernatural, but this thing came up called Pacific Rim. And I mean, it doesn't matter. Yeah, well, that is about the kanju that and it's just what you're talking about. Two people. I mean, there's these entity, just like Godzilla, big monsters, and and then the people have to build like giant tech monsters, and two people have to pilot it. So it ties into just like the SSP. Usually, it's a twin people who get along very well or who are connected, who are able to pilot these ships. It's in through all those movies you're talking about. It's like they've just been putting this stuff in our faces, and you're not gonna, once you realize it, all this stuff is gonna like collapse into your time. Like, holy crap, that's what that was about. That's what that was about. Even Pacific Rim, like it's crazy because it even talks about hive minds on there. It takes two of those boys to pilot it, and they're in the inside of this big mech machine, construct or connected to their consciousnesses and stuff, and it's just insane. Like it is just repeated throughout so many different things. It's like just start seeing it everywhere.
And there's a couple of series that you might like to watch that I think might be on Netflix. And they stem from a movie that rocked people's minds and started a whole genre of its own. And the movie is Stargate with James Spader.
Yeah, I just watched that, and that's what broke me open. That's what made me have like a holy, I was in this stuff. And that was like before COVID hit really bad. Yeah. I watched Stargate for the first time. I wanted to watch Star Trek, but I'm so glad I got into Stargate because it's something that a lot of people don't. I would never watch Star Wars, never watched Star Trek, but I did watch Stargate, and that crap, like that whole series, like I was just crying. I cried so much because I just felt, and that's when I knew, yes, hopefully I can find it again because I want to rewatch them. It's not on Netflix anymore, but you're 100% right. I always mention Stargate, and everything that there is in there is like too old, and the parasite that they have. It's like literally talking about the like parasites that are in people now, or you can call it black goo, an AI synthetic.
Yeah, and I won't hold the fact you haven't watched Star Wars or Star Trek against you, but you really ought to watch them. They are biographies.
I do want to, but right now it's like that would take me so much time to watch all this stuff. I have so much coming in. Yeah. But I definitely will try.
But what I was going to mention is the Stargate branched off into 3 series. Mm-hmm. There's Stargate SG-1.
Yep.
And then there's Stargate Atlantis, which that'll really open you up probably because that they're talking about the civilization of Atlantis is on another world because Atlantis was a spaceship.
Yeah.
And you had to have a gene in your DNA to activate everything.
Exactly. It's just like a frequency, or just having a signature or signal, like I said, embedded in you that you're able to transcend even time.
But the one that you'll really appreciate is, I think, the one that I think people weren't getting into, and so they cut it short, and I'm hoping they'll bring it back and finish that and start maybe another series like they're talking about is SGU, Stargate Universe. And it starts where they found a ship that's out in space. And this one kid that's a video gamer is really good at math because he was in the video gaming and is brought in to help solve these mathematical equations that the scientists who are school taught can't learn and can't figure out. And he's able to break the codes. And so I think that one might be interesting for you to watch too.
Yeah, because I just built my first PC. This thing I just never got into, but I built my first PC, couldn't believe it. And it was like 3 years ago, and I don't use it much. I will get to, but it cost me like $3,000. It has all the updated stuff. And it can just be updated. And when I put that together, I was like, wow, I could have, if I would have got my hands on this stuff sooner. And if anybody doesn't know, this is something we could talk about later. And I have no problem talking about my personal experiences and stuff. But I was an addict for about like 8 years on and off. And for the 6 years, it was opiates, very bad. So there's a time and space where I don't even feel like I was even on Earth because I was just getting high and I wasn't doing anything. But then whenever I got out of that, and then COVID came, and then I got clean. I've been clean for like 6, almost 7 years now off opiates. So when I built this PC, I was like, it just unlocked so much for me. Like I was looking at it and I was like, this looks like I'm looking at a city. I was like, this motherboard looks like the grid on the earth. And then I was like, this is alien tech. This is alien tech. There's no way. Just trying to understand and put it all together. And I finally got my hands on it, and to be able to see it, there's no doubt that they had help in building whatever technology you have around you. It just is insane to think that they went from our phones have more technology in them than what got us to the moon.
Right.
I mean, that's crazy to think.
You should watch the Tron movies.
I did. Yeah, I was going to bring those up too. I don't watch a lot of TV, so I just can't promise I'm going to watch them. But Tron is something I did watch, and I'm sorry, I did start to watch. Like there was an anime. I'm not going to say it's a cartoon because it's like an anime. It's for like adults, and just
it was good. Yeah.
Yeah, he sends himself into a universe that he made, and that's what I'm talking about. That's what I feel like we're dealing with right here, whether or not we've done it multiple times. Because you can think of how, like, once you build a world inside a video game, then you can use those resources in that video game to build a computer and code it, and then build video games for them inside, and then they could just keep and who knows. And the whole thing I was just thinking when you said how I wasn't born yet, I was thinking, okay, if I wasn't born yet, then where was I? So I wasn't on the earth yet, technically. So what if even our souls get sucked in at certain times, and we're supposed to be born at certain points? You know what I mean? Because I don't know. Everyone says we have soul contracts, and we are choosing when we want to be here. Even our mothers at the same time, and everything. Like we pretty much know what we're going to go through whenever we come here.
Well, some of that might be in the programs. And I know this is going to sound hard to grasp, but we learned how to, I could be here in America and it's, say, 1990.
Mm-hmm.
But I could also be in 1940s Germany.
Yes, that's what it. How could not that be? If everyone's saying time is not linear, and we know that, and time doesn't matter, so everything is in here and now. That means space does not matter, and distance does not matter, and time. So, right now, where you're standing, everything is. So all of you, and then when we think of collapsing if you think of even digital twins, like I was talking about, some of these, I think even these dimensions just aren't carrying your soul, but they could have a lot of information. They could have stuff that you don't have. And then I feel like once you get to a certain point, it's almost that causes a collapse in those timelines. And then it's you get that information from those other worlds that you've been into. And that would make sense for what we're talking about. Because I felt even within the last week, collapsing of dimensions, I'm like, holy crap, all this stuff is making sense. And then I just blurted out a bunch of things this past week of a bunch of my thoughts and things. But
yeah, and one thing that's going on right now is all the timelines. And I think part of my mind that they, erase certain things. There was a glitch, I think, with mine.
Yeah.
Because I don't necessarily remember what projects or missions I was on, but I remember having families.
Yeah.
And so I would always be sitting there and questioning myself and going, if what people are saying is true and we just delete timelines and that timeline ceases to exist, what happens to the family?
Yeah.
Do they just disappear, or are they reassimilated into something else? Or does it go on for them and I'm just taken out of the picture, like I never was there?
Yeah, it could be that.
And people would start looking at me that are in programs and go, Well, I don't know. I've never thought about it. And I'm like, that was one of the first things that I started thinking about was, do I have families out there? And oh man, what does this mean now for me? Having like family on timeline B and timeline E and timeline like G, but single on timelines A, C, and all these other ones. And it's like, what happens, to everybody that's on those?
Yeah.
Because we made them to do what we needed to do.
Like
as we're
fractured or
Yeah,
fractal.
so it's like, do we merge them into this timeline? And that's why people who were never here are confused being here, and people who were here and gone are now back.
Yeah, I feel like that.
And it's confusing because we've messed with time so much that it's like, I don't, it's hard to know where and what is going on now because time makes no sense.
Yeah, and then especially, I mean, I was just looking at some of my posts from a while ago. Like, I'm talking about 2012 and stuff, when 2012 happened. But, like, it said that when they started up that Hadron Collider, it did, like, it killed our universe or something, and then our universe split. And I don't know, but I just know things have felt different ever since past 2012. Because I remember what it was like before it. And we are starting to see, I mean, people have usually only have Mandela effects that they've seen, in the public. But my first deja vu or Mandela effect was whenever I was like 7. And I can tell you this, this was my first trip of like, I don't know how I only have one jewelry box, but I got this jewelry box gifted to me 2 separate times. I have 2 different memories, 2 separate memories of getting this one jewelry box, but I only ever had one. And it was after, I was probably like between the time I went through the portal, like 6, and then in between there. And then I realized after, I was like, I feel like I probably lived 2 separate, and I have a memory of 2 separate times, but like whatever one I came back to, it was like this one, whatever the one my mom remembers of me getting it in this timeline, that's where she said I got it.
Right. And how people, sit there and can say, there's never been multiple timelines. And I can get that's where they're at. But to me, the proof that there are multiple timelines can be boiled down to looking at like one factor that's going on in today's world. And that is, I remember a time when the moon only was visible at night.
Yes.
It was never visible in the day.
Dude, yes, that trips me out so bad. No one can give me an answer for that. I remember when that started happening, like, first time I saw it was like 10 or something, maybe even more. I've seen it a few times, but when I got out of the house, I see it all the time now, dude. The moon is out during the day, and I'm like, guys, where are my like flat earth round people that can tell me something about this? Because why am I seeing the sun and the moon out? Like, it makes no sense. And you're right, it was not like that whenever I was younger.
Right. And the color of the sun is 3 different colors. People remember it white, people remember it yellow, people remember it orange. And they're all right.
Yeah.
But it's off. And I think the way I've come to look at it is, as the timelines are merging, there are some facets of each timeline that doesn't get erased. It just morphs into
collapse.
People just accept it.
Mm-hmm.
And those of us who I think are the ones who experience the programs or experience time awareness differently, we remember all different facets. So for us, we can see the changes as they're happening, where everybody else is like, nope, this has always been this way. I'm like, no. And one of the things that surprised me was I've done a lot of cultural studies on like indigenous cultures and everything. I even took anthropology courses.
Yes, I took some too. I love anthropology.
And I never heard until I was talking to somebody that there are stories of the time before there was a moon.
Yes, that's my favorite time to talk about, when the moon got towed in.
And so I'm like, yeah, so therefore the moon is not a celestial object that came from the earth, because how can we have stories of a time with no moon?
Yeah.
And we all just blindly accepted the moon is this, and we hit it with a missile and it rings like a bell.
Yeah.
That's a hollow object. No celestial object is hollow.
Yeah.
As far as we're told. So
yeah, it's a stabilizer, in my opinion. Artificial satellite stabilizer, and it tides and
well, actually they're finding now it has no effect on the tides. And so it's really raising the question, why do we have this object in our orbit that it's like it's just there to watch us? It has no effect on us.
How are people saying it has no effects if it's in our gravitational field?
Well, because I feel like because it's an inanimate object, it's like man-made or alien-made.
Yeah, I can understand.
There's no energy to it, so it's not pulling any. It's not giving us energy to, say, move a tide. There's no energy coming from it. They're finding it's just an object there.
And I had an understanding, like, because I'm not gonna like just fully agree with that, because I'm not sure, because I know like the times, I mean, we have lunar cycles, and the lunar cycles matter. Then we have the eclipses, and it's perfectly positioned for all that can happen, you know. So
right.
And then its effect on our water in our bodies, and that's why during full moons or during certain events, like it pulls on the water in our bodies, and that's why during full moons, like we are supposed to be crazy and stuff like that. I've never heard of anyone saying it doesn't have any type of effect, because I just find that to be like, because I heard it was pulled in and then there was catastrophes. That's what took out most of the people, like some of the things that were here. Like Greek mythology, I forget when it talks about that, but it talks about the time before the moon and when it got towed in, and then there was floods, which are written in every religion.
Right. And I mean, I'm not saying that. Yeah, you know, there's definitely is no anything to the moon. I'm just saying
that's cool. I'm just gonna look it up. Like that's something
a new science that's coming up, and it could be misinformation to try and pull us away from, you know, focusing on the moon. And the one thing, though, when it comes to the moon, and I know we're at the hour, but the one thing that I love to share about the moon, that's the biggest oddity that we all have blindly accepted, is we have how many satellites orbiting the Earth for communication? But yet we have no known communication satellites around the moon that we send people up to on rockets that are basically bombs that they're sitting on, and just hoping that they come back. And we can only communicate when they're in certain positions. And nobody thought in the 40 to 60 plus years, hey, let's put a satellite up so we can talk to them.
Yeah, I feel like it's all on purpose, all the misinformation and disinformation that's out about the moon. I mean, we know in the projects that they have, like, so that makes me upset kind of when people are like, we never went to the moon. I'm like, okay, I feel like they did a lot of disinformation about it, but I'm not going to say we never went up there, because I feel like we did, and they put out the disinformation to get people away from it. Like, regardless, we know that people are in these projects. We have the technology to go there. So to say we never went is kind of crazy to me. It could have been like altered, just like anything could have been altered if they have time travel. So yes, things could have been altered, things could have been placed, and things could have been farced, but I do believe that, and this is something that keeps coming up, and this would make sense. Why some of us are older, some of us are way older than this solar system that we're in. Some of us aren't. But from my awareness is that my consciousness is older than the solar system, and it said there is something inside the lunar bases that this is like when you die, and it's like a soul trap. You get filtered through the lunar soul cycle, and then they get you back down on Earth. So it very well could be that we could have been even contained some of our consciousnesses and brought from a different and brought in here, and then they started putting our souls into the Earth through whatever system they have.
I agree. And one question I have for you, and I'm curious around, is I see with your name you have Third Eye Tribe, and you even have third with 2 eyes.
Yeah, that's how you spell it on everything. You can just type that in and you'll probably find me, more than likely.
So what's the story behind that?
Okay, so 2014, I bought my PS3 with Grand Theft Auto 5, and I got home, and I had to pick up, before I was Third Eye Tribe. I mean, this was my gamer tag. This was not like something I made for being online, and then I just brought it online. I was like, Tribe is my name, or people call me Third Eye. So I started patenting it. So like so long ago, like I've been putting the hashtags Third Eye Tribe with 2 eyes, because 3 eyes, third eye, and then the 3 eyes in it. So I was always getting at the third eye, your pineal gland, and I'm not exactly sure what's made in the pineal gland. I always thought it was dimethyltryptamine, which is DMT, the spirit molecule, and when you die you get a hit of that. That's why like you see these crazy experiences. I mean, you could do DMT, but it's not ever going to be what's produced in your brain, what you experience, like through those. But so that's just, even thinking 2014, that was more than 10 years ago. So I was, however old I was. But this has always been embedded in me. So yeah, it was pretty much about opening your third eye, and I was really into like the basic conspiracy theories back then, like not calcifying your pineal gland, and trying to do. But as I got older, like it just was like I started to fill in the name more. Like it started to make more sense, because I did not have all the knowledge I have now, that I did when I made that screen name. But it's like I just like stepped into something, and when I made it, it all just like fit with me, and then it just fit my how I was growing and going throughout these communities, even like through Twitch, and now in this community, it's just carried weight a lot.
No, that's really cool, and thank you for sharing that. And I want to take a moment and just say thank you to you, Jordan, for coming on at the last minute. And like you said, we've talked for 2 days now, and so for you to trust me enough to come on the show and be a guest, I so thank you.
Yes.
And I'm so appreciative.
I'm honored. Thank you so much.
And hopefully we'll get you back on.
Yes, I would love, like, this is something I love to continue, and I'll be back on here on video, guys. I love to do videos. It's just today I was not feeling too well. But yeah, I'm totally down for this, and I'm really, really glad that I'm starting to find my frequency family. I forget what you called it earlier, that your friend called it like that.
Soul family.
Soul family.
Soul tribe.
Yeah, see? Tribe is in my name. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, I even have a paranormal team that I investigate with called the Tribe.
That's awesome. My friend Tengu, who I do that, it'll be linked for everybody who I have my podcast with, that I started 3 years ago before I even met this community. He's a ex-paranormal investigator from Ireland. And he got in contact with me because he saw what I was about, and he was like, hey, you believe in aliens? You want to like collab on stuff? And we started to collab, and we just mixed the paranormal with alien. He tells me all of his paranormal stuff, and then we've been able to collaborate how they're so similar from what I've learned and from what he has learned through the paranormal, and how we think that a lot of this is the same. And spirituality needs to be mixed in, even paranormal. Seeing UFOs, seeing Bigfoot, all of that is like paranormal, alien. That all needs to be put into science now, because science has a threshold on it. They've only been allowed people to talk about so much, and now they're like, new things are coming out. Well, no, nothing's new. No information is new. They've had it, and now they're just trying to say that it's new. So I can't wait for the future, because just so much is coming out, and we'll be able to like kick it into gear.
Well, and one thing that's interesting, that if you can find it, you might really get a kick out of, is in 1999 there was a show that came out, and it was through, I believe, BBC was the one who brought it about, and it's a show called The Tribe. And what it is a virus hit the world, and all the adults were taken out, and these kids are now running around in kind of like a post-apocalyptic world, and they're working in factions, and you have the eco faction, the techie faction, the just everyday people faction.
Yeah, it sounds like the 100. They made a spinoff of that. It's called the 100. It's like the same thing.
Yeah. So you might find that one interesting. I think it's available on Freevee, which is through Amazon. And I don't know what other channels, but if you do a search called The Tribe Show, it'll pull it up. You'll find it there. And it's really interesting, actually. And I was thinking about, like, when the fake-demic hit, and I was like, how interesting, they're doing a virus to try to depopulate the world. And then I was like, that sounded awfully familiar. And then I was like, oh yeah, The Tribe. Mm-hmm. They talked about that before it happened.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was interesting too that it was a virus, not something, like aliens or anything. It was like something we did.
Yeah. I mean, this is embedded in video games. Like, if anyone has seen this, because this was a video game before it was ever a show, and I really liked the first season. I'm not going to watch the second season, but it's The Last of Us. And I've played both of those games, and it's pretty much about this fungal virus that, gets crazy, and then people start just turning into clickers, and certain different types of this fungus, like any other fungus, will take over their brains, kill them, and then take a hold of their nervous systems, and then just keep spreading. And it just this is something that we see in so many different movies that they have always embedded, and it's the same message that they're doing right now. It's like, they have to get this is the one thing people don't understand. They have to get your consent to do these things, and the way they get your consent is to show you them. And if you do not push back, like if we do not talk about it, we don't push back, and they're showing us in the Hollywood, and we know it's entertainment, we know they're coding everything in Hollywood, and then we don't do nothing about it. We are pretty much just accepting and allowing it to happen. So they feel like they won't get any karma that way. And it might just be because if people are allowing it, you're giving them consent to do it to you. And that's why I think it's very important for people to pick up their voices, even now more than ever, with everything that's going on, especially with the children, most importantly of all.
Yes. And so I'd love to keep talking, but it's getting late here, and I know it's even later where you are, and so I want to be respectful of the time, and we will definitely have you back on. So everyone that's watching this, please like, subscribe, follow along the channel, because that's the best way to see when Jordan will make her reappearance and other guests. And just a reminder to everyone in the chat room, this is pre-recorded, so don't feel like we're ignoring your questions. We're just not there to see your questions. So if you write your questions in the comments, I can get them to Jordan and maybe we can answer them.
Yeah.
And if you want to follow Jordan on all her social media adventures, all the links are in the description. So you'll be able to follow her and find her that way. And is there anything you want to share with people before we go?
Just come in, guys. Everyone. No memories. I just am ready to collaborate. I'm happy to be here, and I appreciate you, Michael.
Well, I appreciate you as well, Jordan, and thank you to everyone watching this. And reminder, as well as live shows will resume next week. So thank you to everyone watching, and thank you for continuing to support this channel. And I value and appreciate everyone. And Jordan, I do have one last thing for you that I know you're going to feel like you don't know why I'm saying this to you, but I am going to say it anyway. From my heart to yours, thank you for all you do for the community.
Thank you. I'm putting my hand on my heart too, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. This is Frequency family right here, and I'm just really excited to what's to come, because I feel like this is just the beginning for real.
Yes, it is just the beginning, and keep in touch, and we will see everyone on the next episode. Good night, everyone. Sorry, go ahead, Jordan.
Did we stop?
No, we're still live.
Oh, okay. I said bye.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think we were saying it at the same time, and I didn't want to. I wanted to give you a chance to say what you wanted to say and not. So, okay. Well, so we're going to say goodnight, everyone.